Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Is the thumbnail up? Is what I want to know. Because I don't think it is. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, it is. Never mind. No, it says it is. Away, here we go. My hands are a bit sticky. Svander's here. Beautiful, gonna have a nice big race. Off. Hello everyone. It's a very, not very well known in here today, and yeah, that pretty much sums up. I'm not well. But that's besides the point. Anyway, hello everyone. How are you doing today? .123.6 is what Macaulay's got so far. By the way, a few things before we start. Hello everyone. For a start, B&R's new livery looks wonderful. Very wintry as well going as we approach that season. I don't know if we can see it. Let's see if we can get a better shot at it. Maybe down the hill. Come on, there's something on this car that we need to look at. Back up, I'll be able to look at it a bit better. If JD could go in the pitch just for a second, we could have a look at this. I think if you could just about see there. Congratulations, JD. Finally married. It's been a while with COVID restrictions, you've been waiting for it, but congratulations, you finally got it done this week. We are very happy for you, mate. Congratulations. And maybe you could back it up with a win today. There's 13 people. It's quite a stacked lobby. Sick, he's debuting. Macaulay won last time out. JD had a chance, but he spanned. Typical JD stuff. PX4. He says he's looking quick. Fridge is back. Tim's back. Svander's back. It's just good, it's just good. It's just looking good right now. 23.6 for Brian is the current fastest time out on track. Hello, Giotto. Now, I think last time we came here we were seeing low 21s. I think Ruben may have done a 19, but that's Ruben. That was with setups as well. This is a really tricky track to get your head around, so it's going to be a good race. It's a shame Juice isn't here. Juice dominated when he was here in Div 2 in Season 1. But I think we are just about ready to get going then. Start pretty much on time. Just need Brian to ready up. And whilst we do this, I'm going to get a drink open. Yeah, I do not feel well. My voice is going a bit, but it's all good, lads. It's all good. If I swear, don't worry. got a Lucasade, a new flavour. It's quite nice. A raspberry flavoured. It's nice though, it's nice. We're just waiting for Brian to ready up and we should be calm. I'll cover cars if anyone's interested. We know Brian will go into the same one. Brian's not an ass. So, Aerial currently championship leader. We'll have a look whilst we're waiting on the points. If I can quickly load this up. Driver standings. Yeah, that's a big lead for Aerial. Aerial has a 16-point lead. That is practically a race. Not quite a race. The maximum you can get is 18 points, but that is practically a race. So Aerial on 44 points, Zen 28 points, JD 24 points, Brian 22, Macaulay after a brutal race yesterday puts himself 18 with 18 points, Joe 16. Now Joe could be there if he didn't miss a race. So that is pretty much the way to go. Everyone's ready then? And we're just about ready to get qualifying started then here at Brands Hatch. It was an interesting race the past 2 times he was there. Or the past... Yeah, we've had 2 races here. This is where Division 2 started. We didn't go here last season, but look at that, just married for JD. Congratulations, my friend. And a lot of people coming out on the mediums. Now, is that a sign of strategy? As everyone files out of the pit lane, it's just Aerial. Now, he goes. So, looking at the tyres, this is really... It's a short lap as well. It's so easy to make mistakes. It is a brilliant race. It's a brilliant track. But, do be careful. It's so easy to spin. We saw a lot of spins in the Div 1 race when we was here. And we also didn't have the 2 compound rule. This isn't the easiest to overtake the easiest track to overtake. He should be joining us soon in the chat and he will remind you of it. Vaseline Cock, Div 2 around here, did one of the best overtakes we've ever seen, and there's JD going around. I forgot the corner names of Brands Hatch, which is a real tragedy as I normally know them. Coming up to Clearways, but I've got to load up the corner names. Which is quite disappointing. I'm disappointed in myself. Anyway, up towards Druids for the first time, Zen goes in his lovely Corvette livery, followed by Svander, who's returning since Div 1, where he didn't have the best of races. Then Druids, the slowest turn on the track, a lot of people on the mediums pitting. Then, oh, who's that round in the back? There's Macaulay, who's having a bit of an issue, get offline as Joe's also coming through. Up towards Graham Hill Bend, turn 3, and then the first sector pretty much was a lot of splits around it. Turn 4. Surtees, I believe. Yes, I am right. Heavy and Casey had a nice spin here. Completely unrelated, but both had a chance at a podium. Both didn't capitalise on it. Then is where Vassal made his brilliant overtake down at Hawthorns. The down Hilgram's dip, the longest straight on the track. It's not into a real good overtaking opportunity. It's quite... There's not much space down at Hawthorn, so you really have to sort of force it through. There's the brake board there at Sterling's as they exit up through Clearways, then into Clark Curve. So, then first round, you can probably go a few laps on the tyres. Tyre wear shouldn't be all too bad, and neither should fuel. But anyway, Zen will set the benchmark lap time, a 23.7. Svander goes for top with a 23.5. JD's next. A 24.8, pretty slow from him. Into the pits goes Hardcore. He's had not the best. Joe, he's next to cross the line. He goes third with a 24.5. Macaulay, after a spin, gets sent down to the bottom of the pile of the ones that have done their laps with a 29.6. Now, it's a bit of a train of everyone that's gone on to it, that's probably starting on the mediums. So, Tim, PX4, 6 sets a lap, a 25.5. That puts him into 5th, and it's just chaos. There's going to be a lot of traffic around here as well. It's going to be interesting opening few laps around here. But the race winner last time out, purple through what would be probably the proper first sector, just through turn 4. Aerial probably burning a bit of fuel there, a 147.3 through Hawthorne's, not quite flat. It's really ballsy turn, really. It's so easy to make a mistake. There's a lot of motorbike crashes there. It is really dangerous through there. Such high speeds with such narrow track. It's quite a spectacle. Svander running wide on the exit of Sterling's, and Sven through Clark Curve, he goes and has a spin as well. So there's going to be a few yellow flags up ahead, and Joe, he's going to be able to set a good lap time. JD improves into third at 24.2, but what can Joe do? He's pulling along someone behind. See if we can get a look who it is. Joe improves, he's pulling along Macaulay, who then goes third. There's Brian then in third at 23.7. Just beating out... just beating out, I think that was Macaulay, up towards the line. Tim, he goes 7th. Up next, PX4, 26.1. Fridge up next. He goes 9th for 25.6. Peachy's on an outlap. They was tipped heavily at the start of the season. Hasn't really made much of an influence yet, but Brian's looking to keep his run. Well, his run of podiums was broken as Ariel at 22.7 goes to the top by 3/4 of a second. Brian's trying to get his third podium of the season. He had 2 in a row at Kyoto last week, last week at Suzuka. Another high tyre wear track. He really did struggle, ended up finishing down in 7th. That's really hurt himself in the championship. After all, it was a pretty good start, but dirty air around this track as well probably impacts you more than the slipstream does. When some tracks it really can counteract, especially at like Spa when the toe is worth so much. But Brian's currently improving, and there's going to be a bit of chaos up ahead, but with the 2 Brits, Macaulay getting some heat into his tyres, and then Joe up ahead. If Macaulay does get a good exit, though, Brian will get a nice little toe through Clark Curve, but into the pits goes Macaulay and Joe anyway. So if they've cost him time, it's going to be a bit annoying. But up towards line 4, Brian, he won't be improving. There's JD coming out of the pits. Vander's coming around the final turn. There's still just under 4 minutes to go, which is the joy of how short the lap is. Hardcore, he's improves a 25.8, still down in 6th, running wide. PX4 improves a 25.7, will put him just ahead of Hardcore, I think into 10th, no, 11th. Fridge is currently in 10th, into the pits for the current championship leader, and out of Druid, Svander is a bit shaking, there's a bit of traffic up ahead anyway. Zen's coming through Graham Hill Bend, pushing the curb. You can really push it on the exit of turn 3 there. Peachy goes 8th with 24.4. Late Apex going deep through turn 4, and there's a train of 3 ahead of Svander, and I think there's a Brit. Yes, Macaulay and Joe, they were the ones that caused Brian a bit of problems. Brian's not far off the back of Zen as they come through Hawthorne's dirty, yeah, through a really going to impact you, and there's traffic for Zen. He's on an outlap, but he's going to want to clear them. He doesn't want to get stuck behind them for his actual lap. But as we approach the final couple or so laps for everyone, Ariel's currently leads Svander. Last time out in Bathurst, he had a troublesome qualifying, which stuck him down, 7th, I think, with a lot of traffic and back mods causing problems. He's currently now running in 2nd. He's going to really be enjoying that. Zen, he's in 3rd, a 10th and a half behind Svander, and Zen is currently behind Svander on track as well, so we'll be getting that toe as well. That's quite helpful. Brian in 4th, but he's got a podium from down in 8th before his starts so far have been probably the best out of Div 1 and 2. He's not had a bad one yet. Macaulay's down in 5th, on just about half a 10th behind Brian. And then there's a bit of a gap between JD, Joe and Peachy. Then Tim in 9th, just outside of people that will score points. We're just trying to see who's closest to finishing a lap here. It was Peachy who now goes into 8th for 24.3. Ariel's just going to finish the lap. and start their flyer. Macaulay a bit loose at the rear there. There's no cells to really help you with that. I think it's Brian. Yeah, Brian leads this sort of train. I think there's JD behind as well. But Brian, that pit ball, that brake mark is really not going to be helpful. Brian's just under a second behind. I think that's JD going around. I heard tyres screeching. That could be on the other side though, by Pilgrim's Dip. Through Clark Curve then for Brian. A good line through there. There's not much curb on exit to really push it, but up towards the line was improving through the final turn. He goes third. JD then goes fourth and follows Brian just behind him. And there's this little group up ahead. Zen's currently in fifth. He's just been dumped down from third. He doesn't improve. Joe does improve over 23.7. Puts him seventh then. Macaulay improves to go fourth. He's only 69 hundredths behind. 69 thousandths behind Brian, and only 5 milliseconds ahead of JD. And JD through the second sector. There's so many mini sectors around this track as Flanders into the pit lane. Peachy improves but doesn't jump any positions. JD was improving through the first two sectors, then through Hawthorns. He is currently down in his PB. Just trying to find, I think it might be Ariel. No, who's coming up towards the line? Brian's parked it. So that's not good news. Someone's coming up towards the line. We'll see if they improve in just a sec. And they are going slowly. JD's still behind as he goes through Sterling's. There's still time to find it. You can find so much time through Clark Curve, such is the nature. Even 5 milliseconds will put him onto the second row of the grid. He's also having a good season. I think he's got 2 podiums so far, both in Japan. Let's see if he can continue it into the UK. He goes second. He's found so much time through the final turn. That is brilliant. See, he found about 7 tenths through Clark Curve. Macaulay up next. He's not far off behind Brian as the car's getting lighter. Zen goes third. Macaulay's next up towards the line. He can't improve. Joe up next. He won't be improving. PX4, can he improve? He does, but he stays 12th. Just trying to find who is coming up towards the line. Well, I see Fridge here up towards the line. Tim improves, that will put him in towards the top 8. Peachy being towed along by Fridge. Peachy improves a 24.2, but he stays 9th. Tim 8th. And Ariel last across the line on pole with a brilliant lap. The only person, oh no, JD a 22.999. I was about to say Ariel the only person to go sub 23, sub 123, but no, JD literally did it by quite literally the skin of his teeth. And the 2 Helix boys just having a bit of a laugh there, running each other off the road. It's quite nice of them. But Ariel on pole, followed by JD, Zen, and then Svander. Svander's better qualifying in GTL. Brian in 5th. That's not all said and done for him though. Brian's actually on his final lap, but he's going quite slowly, it seems. I think a lot of people are. Macaulay then. Macaulay, Joe, 2 Brits, 6th and 7th. Tim rounds out the top 8. Peachy's 9th with Sick on debut in 10th. Then Fridge, PX4 and Hardcore round out the rest of the spots. But Ariel on pole by 2 attempts to JD, who's still chasing down his first win. Let's see if he can get it today. So then, confirmation of the results. Ariel on pole, followed by JD. Row 2, Zen and Svander. Watch out for Brian off the line in P5. Just behind him is last week's winner, who got the clean sweep, fastest lap, pole and race win, is Macaulay. Then Joe down in 7th. Then Tim, everyone's favourite Canadian in 8th. Peachy 9th. Sick 10th. Fridge 11th. This is his second race back. Just watch for that to watch Brian start win. Ove can be good. The the lights are going on, then all the lights are on. We're ready for round 4 of GTEL Division 2 Championship here from Brands Hatch, and it's a very good start by Svander. JD's had an absolute stinker of a start as we go down towards turn 1. Zen down the inside. Svander third, tries to fight around the outside. Brian's into 4th though. JD dropped right down in 6th from 2nd. Macaulay's into 5th. Further back down the order as we go up towards Drews for the first time. He's trying to make up positions. He goes down the inside into 5th. Further back, Joe's currently fighting 6th, and there's a bit of chaos as Peachy's in 10th. Tim's gone down and plays into 9th as well. But Ariel holds on. It's a battle of the Corvettes. Battle. It's a repeat of Bathurst as Zen covers the inside. Zen goes down the inside, sorry. And he is comfortably into the lead of the race. So Zen leads, then as we go down Pilgrim's Dip, up towards Hawthorne. Svander all over the back of the championship leader. Is he going to think about the move? No, he won't, but there's a group of 4 already pulling away. Zen leads from Ariel, Svander and Brian. Macaulay leads the chase group with Joe, and that's Sick off into the background. But Ariel not having the best of opening laps, and JD's down into 7th now as his troublesome start continues. Further back, I think there's Tim in a bit of chaos as everyone follows through the forest as they go back, coming on the exit of the GP circuit to end a very short lap. A lot of laps, expect about 40 or so laps around this track, as Zen already bridging a bit of a gap. It's Ariel maybe being a bit conservative on fuel here, but Zen leads on lap 1, followed by Ariel, then Spando chasing his first podium, followed by Brian, Macaulay, Joe, JD, and then Sick. That's for top 8 as we go down towards Druids for the second time this race. The 2 Corvettes lead then, such as in Bathurst. Svander all over the back of them, but you can't really find your way around, as you have to see, kind of do what Zen did, which is kind of force it down here at turn 4. Good overtaking spots into the final turn, Druids, and here at turn 4, but none of them are really amazing. You do need to really work for an overtake around this track. There's a bit of a gap falling between 3rd and 4th, as Brian of the Mercedes is falling into the clutches of the 2 Brits. Svander also half second back now as the 2 Corvettes starting to lead. I think there may have been a bit of a bump draft going on there with Ariel as he's thinking of the championship, just bridging a gap. If he finishes 2nd this race, it's fine, but we know Ariel's going to try and at least fight all the way to the end here. Ariel struggled last time out in Suzuka. Wasn't on the podium, but still has a healthy championship lead. There's a battle of the Mercedes. Macaulay all over the back of Brian as they go through Clark Curve, but at the end of lap 2, Zen still leads, and the top 3 still the same, but Joe's putting Macaulay on the pressure. Going to try and go around the outside up towards Paddock Hill Bend. Can he make it stick? He's going to bail out of it. Can he find a bit of a switchback there? No, really wide at the apex. Can't quite get it done. As we go up towards Druids for the 3rd time. Brian having a bit of a breather as Joe tries to send it down the inside. Bit of a forced move. This is going to allow JD to try and close his way back up. Ariel under a bit of pressure from Svander further back. And the only guy really close to Ariel in quali was JD. He's down in 7th after a poor start. It's going to take a real effort to try and cut your way up the track. But so far, Zen commanding the front of this race in the opening few laps. Brian's kind of stuck in no man's land, 2 seconds off the lead 3, and then a second ahead of Macaulay and the little chase group further back. I think down, who was that? Yeah, it was Peachy, just in a bit of a no man's land as well. So with a bit of a gap, let's look. Tyres for everyone. Zen's on soft, Ariel's on soft, softs for Svander, mediums for Brian. Brian's the highest medium runner, so watch out for Brian then, come the closing stage of this race. We saw this in Bathurst. We know he can do well with this sort of starting on the medium strategy. This really worked out for him and got on that podium from 8th in Bathurst. Macaulay's in 5th. If he's on the softs, he's going to want to clear Brian as soon as possible, but he seems to be struggling with that. Softs for Joe, mediums for JD. We know JD is someone that can pull a one-stop, so maybe he's trying to take it slower, and that marriage present still up for grabs. Peachy's on softs, mediums for Tim, we know he likes a strategy as well, softs for Sick, mediums for hardcore. Yeah, it's mediums all for the back 3, so Brian, JD, Tim, Hardcore, PX4 and Fridge all on the mediums then. Brian, he's fallen down into 5th then. Can we get a replay of the move maybe? Probably done out of turn number 4. Back to the leaders race. I think definitely down that back straight towards Hawthorns. The aerial's pushing Zen along a bit. But fuel-wise already, Svander's burnt most out of his top 3. Zen's not got much further, but Aerial already used up almost 50% less than what the two he's sandwiched between have used. And all 3 are actually in the Corvette, I've just realised. So yeah, all 3 of the Corvettes lead. Now fuel, they do burn it a lot. And this was Zen's problem last time out. He struggled over the past 2 races out in Japan, but back here maybe he's going to feel a bit more comfortable. We'll find out. Probably shouldn't have won in Bathurst, but Ariel's misjudgment on fuel did come back to bite him. With the top 3 all Corvettes then, as well, the top 6 all rivals of the Brits, and they're out in the Brits, so top 3 all-American cars, and then Germans from 4th to 6th. And then the Germans in 7th, followed by another German car in 8th. As Brian's now fallen down into 6th, as Macaulay, what's the gap between Macaulay? 2.6 seconds as he's... Paul wasn't the best qualifying for him, he was on pole last time out, but he's already taken time out of Svander. But 3.5 to the leaders then, as Svander's starting to fall off the back of these lead 3. And Ariel's now actually leading the race. As they come up to Clark Curve, most of them still on clearway straight here. But Ariel, a sudden turn of pace. Going to put in the fastest lap for a 23.1. Not much slower than his quali lap. So maybe Ariel sort of change in strategy here. Looked like it was going to be a bit conservative. But already puts out a load of fuel trying to match what everyone else is doing. And he's not far behind what Zen's doing on fuel either, but a poor line out of turn 3, and Zen's going to try and fight it back into the lead here. And there's a bit of contact as they go through turn 4 on towards the back straight, and it almost looked a bit too easy. Are they going to race it down? Hawthorns, no. Ariel's backing off, so let's have a replay from on board Zen. Oh, that's what actually happened there. Ariel catches the grass going in towards Graham Hill Bend, and that's where he lost all his time and momentum, and there goes Zen, and Zen has a bit of a moment as they kind of touch there, but the lack of momentum, the momentum difference, oh, Zen's wide there, out of Sheen Curve, and Ariel all over the back, and then Svander's back into this as well already, and now Macaulay, he's gained a lot of time on this lead 3. 2 laps, 2 mistakes then from both different drivers as down in towards turn number 1 through Paddock Hill Bend. Svander's now into 2nd. Is Svander going to fancy himself a move up towards the Druids? He did a bit, but Zen shuts the door. Ariel trying to go around the outside, not able to get it done as they go up towards turn number 3 through Graham Hill Bend. This is where Ariel made his mistake last time. He's through cleanly, doesn't make the mistake this time. And onto the dirty stuff, or onto the marbles for Svander. Goes a bit deep, and this is going to allow Zen to pull ahead, but will that wide line help his exit? And it has a bit, and Svander's got some momentum going down the main straight. It's not quite good enough though. Peaks around the outside, trying to make Zen go a bit defensive, as there's only one line you can really take through. Any other line you're going to really impede yourself as Macaulay. This little scrap's going to really benefit him further back. Zen, Svander, Ariel then, the top 3, they've led the whole race so far in this opening 9.5 minutes here at Brands Hatch, and so far it's been quite a good race, but you see Macaulay and Mighty Joe not far off into the background. And after a pretty chaotic lap 6, lap 7 comes to an end pretty abruptly, hence the shortness of the lap around Brands Hatch. 3 seconds back is Macaulay. But he's gaining. He's gained half a second on him in the past couple or so laps. Svander a bit wide through turn number 1. Up towards Druids. Ariel all over the back of his fellow Corvette driver. Svander's not really in the championship after missing 2 races, but he's still here, he's still racing. Svander is a reserve driver, but most reserves will actually turn up pretty much weekly, so it doesn't really matter as they come through not Graham Hill, as they come through Surtees for the 8th time this race pretty cleanly. And Ariel got some momentum here down towards Hawthorns. Is he going to think for a move? Ariel's not that stupid. Ariel's not going to really risk it. I think he's definitely going to be a bit more cautious. 2.8 seconds the gap now for Macaulay. Svander, he's dropped down. If we can have a look at that moment where he's gone and lost that place. Down through, up towards Hawthorns. Is it going to be through Westfields? Loses a lot of speed and naturally... Yeah, he actually, Svander just lets Ariel through there through at Westfield. So, through that Forest GP section, Svander's actually lost a lot of momentum here. Has Svander got a problem? Not too sure, but Macaulay slowly but surely latching onto the back here. What has happened to Joe? Joe's gone and had a big moment. If we could have a replay, what's gone on there? Oh, he's sliding. There's where Joe's lost all of his time. Down through clock curve onto the gravel. Goes a bit too deep. Then he has to take to the grass, and that is not good for Mighty Joe. And he's gone from 5th. He's now out of the points in 9th. As back to the lead of the race. Zen and Ariel scrapping it out. That was a bit argy-bargy. Now Svander's going to try and see himself. He moves onto the grass to try and get that move done there on Zen. That's a bit dirty. Is he going to let him go down towards Hawthorne side by side? We're going to go events. Svander's going to come out on top. Zen's going to try and fight around the outside. This could end badly for both of them. Who's going to come out on top? Zen, just about, but now 1.2 seconds. Ariel in a matter of moments, bridges a big gap. Let's have a look at a replay then. Down, up towards, as the lead of the race changes. A bit wide there for Zen, not quite on the level of what Ariel had, but nonetheless onto the Astro strip. He goes a bit deep. Ariel gets the car slowed down near enough in time. A bit of argy-bargy. That might be protested. I could see that in terms of the championship with how hard... That was a bit of a rough move there by the championship leader. But nonetheless, we race on round the outside. Svan's going to try and go as Zen catches the curb a bit through Paddock Hill Bend, and Macaulay is just going to... He's going to be thanking them for this a bit here. As he's now getting himself into his Peachy's up into 5th. He's having a pretty good race, but Zen trying to defend from Svander, who's all over the back of him as they go through Graham Hill Bend, and now Macaulay. He's going to have a pretty nice run on these two. He's in the slipstream. Zen covers the inside through turn 4. Thinks Svander hits Zen in the rear a bit there. Nothing too malicious, but 2.7 seconds. Ariel really put on the afterburners as they come near the end of this first stint of 20, if they are going to go for the normal standard 2-stop. On the softs, Brian in 7th. He's really not where he would like to be on the mediums right now, but I believe he's the highest medium runner. Yeah, he's the highest medium runner, but look at Peachy. Peachy's fuel right now and tyre wear is pretty immaculate. As we go, look at the leader quickly. Ariel could definitely still 1-stop this. Looking at his fuel, he's above target, or at least on target, for a 1-stop. Fuel-wise, at least. And Ariel, really, with this pace as well, is having a brilliant race, as everyone, with this squabbling, has cost a lot of time. Svander trying to go around the outside, down the inside, and Zen just backs out of it there. I think he saw something coming of that down towards Druids. Is Macaulay going to look for a move? I think he is. Macaulay down the inside, and Zen's going to go for a really aggressive block, and I think there's been contact there. What is that from everyone? That is rough, as there's going to be an accident here. It's going to be a big one, surely. Race fair, come on guys, look at what happened down at Druids. Round the final turn, we're going to come back to find everyone in the gravel. Up towards Paddock Hill Bend then. Svander, did he really just send it down the inside? Let's see. No, there was space there. Zen just backed out of it, and then he really had a rough block onto Macaulay down at Druids. Really late move, and that's gonna not go down well in the steward's room after the race, I can tell you that now. But Ariel, on a one-stop, is the fastest guy on track, and you'd expect these guys to be at least a second quicker than Ariel, as he's having to be conservative and save fuel, but he's got the pace of someone that's potentially going for a free stop, which is incredibly rare. So, Ariel leads up at the front then. He's got a near 5-second lead. And he's well on target for a one-stop. So, in the Corvette, he's doing well. JD into the pits. He's not got damage, but what could this be from the German? He's also on track for a one-stop, but he's getting the mediums off, and it's going to be interesting to see what he's doing then on this strategy. Ariel, big gaps coming out as the battle for second really heating up with Svander, Zen and Macaulay. 2 Corvettes and a Mercedes as Zen sort of teases a move there up towards turn number 4. And now Peachy's only 3 seconds back on this group here as Macaulay's a long way back. I think Macaulay senses an accident coming as Zen goes on to the grass there down at Hawthorns. Little room being left there for either of them, and everyone getting their elbows out here. And I think there's a bit of anger between these two, Svander and Zen. Let's have a look at that again then. Down the back straight, down Pilgrim's Dip. Zen goes for a really aggressive move there, you have to feel, on the inside line. Svander was covering that inside. And then Zen tries to find a gap. Svander's done that earlier in the race down at turn 4. Or down at the little kink at Pilgrim's Dip. So, you get what you give. You get what you give, I guess. And then Svander goes really deep into turn 1. And Macaulay bumps Zen along then down the inside at Druids. There's not much Svander can do, hence the tightness of the turn. He just got to secede the position, and there's Macaulay having a big moment. Can he get the car saved? Brilliant save there by the Mercedes driver. But maybe it's that sign his rears are just going a bit, and now 7.5 seconds ahead is Ariel. But the scrap continues as the 2 Corvettes go at it again. Down at turn 4, lap after lap. Zen now leads. And Svander, can he try and go around the outside? He's going to give it a go, but he's going to get on the grass just a tiny bit. He's able to get off it, but he's going to really just have to back out, slam on the brakes. Now he's going to fall into the clutches of Macaulay. And 1.3 seconds back now. Peachy chasing his first podium in GTEL with such high expectations going into the first round and barely scored points that race. And Svander right now, after having a troublesome first round, which he didn't actually finish, missing the previous 2 in Japan, back here in the UK, he's having an absolute wonder of a time. But Zen's now starting to pull ahead, and into the pits then comes Svander. It's an interesting way to enter the pit lane, but Svander, the second to pit. JD, he's got clean air ahead of him on the softs. He started on the mediums. He is now on to the softs, going purple so far. What can he do? Can he set the fastest lap? Joe's also into the pit lane with Svander, so as you're about of that pit window, up towards the line. Fastest lap for JD. He's really enjoying that. Svander out onto the mediums. Joe, what's Joe gonna go on to? Joe out onto the mediums as well, so Joe and Svander, they have also used both sets of tyres. In the back 3, have they pitted yet? Hardcore and Fridge have. They started on the mediums. Remember, you have to use, if you're new here, remember you have to use 2 different compounds. But 10 seconds is that gap now. Constant. Oh, the battles have been going on most of this race. And Zen's also coming up with some back marker traffic as well. But Ariel's in a prime position right now. Ariel really shouldn't be leading this race going on to a one-stop, but this is just the power of Ariel. Now responding to the undercut, in comes Zen and Macaulay. Now what's this going to do for Svander? Macaulay's got a huge 9% fuel difference compared to his compatriot Zen. And that could be a good couple seconds gained, and that could maybe allow him to jump him in the pits, but not much fuel's been burnt here, so who comes out where? Peachy's also in the pits, and Svander, he's hunting these down. Macaulay, he's going to come out. Tim's now into second, but Macaulay, he jumps Zen, but where's Svander in all of this? Svander's been jumped and Tim's in the gravel! We'll have a look at that in a minute, but so much chaos is going on as Svander's now behind Zen. It's been a poor outlap for the Dutchman as Macaulay, he's now ahead of Zen, who's all over the back of him. They're both onto the mediums as well, and now JD is being hunted down. He's jumped everyone, but he pitted 5 minutes earlier. This is an interesting race as I try and just put in for everyone who's used what tyres. All over the back of Macaulay is Zen as they go down towards Hawthorns. They're not going to get a move out, they're not going to be dumb, they're not going to risk it, but everyone battling. We still can't even check what tyres Peachy's gone on to. As Zen trying to find his way through at Westfield, can't quite get it done though, up towards Sheen Curve. And this little battle, Macaulay jumped everyone in the pits and Svander's dropped down to the back, and Svander and Zen have gone at it pretty much all race. This is going to allow JD to pull ahead as well, as JD's actually picked up damage, and we'll actually have a replay now of what happened with Tim and JD. Tim's gone longer, he's on the mediums. What happened going up towards... Oh, it's really early braking there from Tim, and JD just goes into the back of it. And that's now given JD some damage, and there goes... He's going to really hope this squabbling This squabbling will counteract that damage to these three, but what about everyone else? And JD's... Maybe JD's going for a free stop, which would be interesting. We've not seen anyone really do that. Into the pits, Sick and PX4. Peachy's gone on to the mediums again. No, Peachy started on the softs, my bad. Sick out on the mediums. And Hardcore on... No, PX4 was on the mediums and onto the softs. So, 10 people as... Oh! Hello. PX4's into the wall down at Druids, and that's engine damage for him. We'll have a quick replay of that. The American running down in 10th. Just misses his braking point. Lack of concentration. The wall is not that far away, and that's engine damage for PX4 on his race. Certainly out of it now with JD. 2.5 second lead from Macaulay and Zen and Svander, as they are all over the back of him here, up towards turn number 1. Zen thinking of a move, goes all over the curve. That's going to cost his momentum a bit as Tim's now into the pits as he picked up damage. We'll have a look in a minute. Tim's on the mediums and he's not actually been given damage, quite fortunately. Hello Vassal, well, you've just tuned into a brilliant race so far. As Tim, this medium strategy does work out for him, but his little trip to the gravel after his contact with JD's done him no good. But 3.3 seconds, this battle really heating up here. Down towards Hawthorns. Macaulay covers the outside Zen. A bit more respect with these lot. Don't go for a move. They are teammates outside of GTEL, as there is no real team competition. But with Svander doesn't care, but these two technically are still fighting for the championship, Macaulay and Zen. Although they are 16 points behind already, stuff like this doesn't help, and JD's really benefiting despite having this front end damage. Still has the fastest lap of the race, so that bonus point for him is going to be helpful. But side by side, Zen's going to have the inside line up the pit straight, up towards Paddock Hill Bend. Then Svander's trying to find a way through there in 5th, and he might just get it following Zen down the inside, and Zen into 3rd, Svander into 4th, and Macaulay in one corner loses 2 positions, and now Svander They're going to try and get onto the podium positions here. And Peachy into the pits again, straight away. Peachy's picked up damage. That's unfortunate. The barriers are pretty close to an FIA Grade 2 track. Yellow flags up ahead. Who are they for? There's someone parked on the edge there. There's Fridge. What's happened with him? Oh, that's not good news for Fridge. Can we get a look at what happened? Oh! Doesn't quite hit the barrier there. Oh, and he just onto the grass, loses control. Oh, and PX4's life flashing before his eyes there. If we can get a look at on board PX4. Oh, there was contact. We won't actually get a good look at it. But 33 seconds is the lead, yet to pit is Ariel. And the only person that could really chase him down, last lap, JD faster than Ariel, so JD's strategy is still within this chance to win this race. But with the damage, he is losing a tiny bit of time, and before that damage, he was setting good laps, but if he's feeling comfortable within the car, that's fair enough. McCauley's fallen off the back a bit, up towards Druids. Svander peaks a bit of a move, but then covers the inside line, and Macaulay, no damage, but I think Macaulay, being a smart driver, he's just staying off the back here. I think he senses that these two are probably going to end up hitting each other in a pretty big way at some point throughout this race, and he's just hanging off the back of it. Down Pilgrim's Dip, then we go under the bridge. It's a bit more calm, a bit more spaced out, and now Brian, 4.7 seconds off the back of this group. This is interesting. Watch out for Brian. He started on the mediums. He's now on the softs. And these three squabbling up ahead is going to do Brian wonders. But Brian's going to need good pace, and so far his softs are pretty well spent already. And there's still a good 13 minutes to go in this race as Macaulay again out of Sheen Curve, a bit shaky. We saw a lot of accidents a few months back in season 1 down there. But now 5 seconds up the road, the lead is still hanging about that 33 second mark as JD, you really have to think he would be gaining if it wasn't for that bumper damage. But he's still running in second, but the pace, especially when Ariel comes out on fresh rubber, is going to be interesting. I don't quite know what JD's plan was. Is JD planning to go a bit longer? We'll have a look. Fuel-wise, he definitely can go to the end. Ariel is comfortable as well for a one-stop. But again, up at turn 4, they're going at it, and Macaulay has had an off somewhere. If we can have a look, I think down at turn 1 he's probably gone and had an off, and now Brian is into 5th. 5.6 behind Svander and Zen, as they're probably going to go at it within the next lap as that gap's closed down a bit. And Brian back to where he started then. Ariel leads the race. And this, at the end of it, may be one of the easiest races Ariel has ever had. That's if he wins it, up towards Clark Curve through clearways. Can't quite get it done. Brilliant defensive work by Zen there. Zen covers the inside line up towards Paddock Hill Bend, moves across to the left. Back onto the racing line, he had enough space there. Didn't want to give Svander the toe. Svander didn't really want to follow it there either as they come towards Druids now. There is a back marker not far up the road. I believe it's Hardcore. DBR Hardcore up ahead, we'll see in a minute. I think so, we'll have a look. Yes, it is DBR Hardcore just up ahead. As we do approach the halfway stage, look at everyone. We'll have a look at everyone's tyres as well. We have had 11 of the 13 confirmed. Use both sets of tyres. Ariel's not yet pitted. I'm just having a look, and we've got Hardcore, we've got Sick, it is Brian, and we know Brian has, so it's just Ariel we're waiting for. And then everyone will have used both sets of tyres. I think everyone's realised, at least doing the mediums on the last stint, if you're going to start with softs, is not that good. It's not worth it. Brian did it. And he still got a podium, but it really cost him come the end of it when everyone's car was at its lightest. But right now, so we'll calm down a bit here as we are at the halfway stage. Svander. Oh, Svander's round! Svander is round, and that is going to do him no good. It's not round in the biggest way. Oh, that's not good. He's gone onto the grass at the wrong stage, and that is kind of what Ariel nearly did earlier. Let's have a look at that again. Through Druids. A solid line there. I think he just caught the grass on the right-hand side. Yeah, he did just catches the grass, then turns in whilst he's on the grass, and he goes round, and that's just unfortunate. And Brian now into fourth. But Zen is now in clean air to pull away from Brian, and into the pit lane comes Ariel then. And JD is coming through the penultimate turn. He's coming through at Sterling's. And I think Ariel may just be comfortably ahead. He has got to full tank it, but he's not completely empty. And away he goes. Comfortably ahead as well, nonetheless. Let's have a look at the gap. 7-6. You're not going to lose much time on exit because you're straight into a turn, but JD hasn't quite got the jump he would have liked. But Brian now into fourth, and Zen's not really got anyone to battle, and Macaulay's dropped down to seventh. Macaulay's struggling on these mediums, it seems, here. And what was a promising start, after especially a really good debut last week, is now costing him. Tim, he's on the softs, he's hunting down Macaulay, who's 11 seconds up the road, but with his problems so far, that is going to cost him. He's also on the mediums compared to Tim's softs, so that may be even worse. But Ariel, 5 seconds up the road. JD is gaining on him, and you just have to feel JD would be with him right now if it wasn't for that damage. But JD comfortably running second this race. As he's coming up towards Sick, who's going to get out of the way there at Sterling's. So after everyone's pitted, Ariel's on the mediums, everyone's also used both sets of tyres. Ariel leads, followed by JD, then Zen and Brian. Svan is now down in 5th after his spin down at turn 3 last lap. Joe's in 6th, not far off of Svander, 3 seconds on the road. He can see him. So the minor podium spots are pretty much anyone's game, or at least third. It's still possible. JD is 8 seconds up the road then from Zen and pulling away. Last lap JD was quicker. JD really pushing on the softer compound. Yeah, JD pushing it on the softer compound despite the damage. Now, if he does catch Ariel, will Ariel let him go? JD, I think if it wasn't for that damage, I think there will be an apology for Tim. Tim broke really early there. Really caught JD off guard, and the time that JD's lost, at least, probably a couple tenths a lap, and there's a lot of laps. At least top speed isn't that major, but the downforce loss isn't good, but he's still the fastest guy on track right now. Ariel, 24.3. 23.6, so JD... sorry, excuse me, 7 tenths quicker than Ariel last lap. There is a car in between them. We'll have a look. Who that is? Sick. That's Sick down in Sick down in 10th. He's gonna have to clear his fellow German pretty quickly. He's gonna get a bit of a tow as well, a bit of a helping hand, especially down Hawthorne. especially down Pilgrim's Dip straight up towards Hawthorne's going to do him a massive favour. Brilliant exit there from JD as well, maximising the tow as long as possible. As there's Macaulay then out of the race with Peachy, will get promoted into 8th thanks to that. And JD actually lost a bit of time from doing that there, getting the tow. You do have to think as well with straight line speed impacts. Does him no good there. But JD, he's going to have an absolute flyer. Now Ariel will be on these mediums to the end, and he will be having to be conservative. So far the mediums, people are clearly struggling on them, and Brian's struggling even more on his softs, but it's Brian. Svander is closing down on Brian after a spin as well. Ooh, a tyre screeching up ahead. Who's that? I think everyone's okay, but 4.2 seconds. JD slower than Ariel last lap. Now, if JD pitted, Ariel lost about 29 seconds. JD would come out in pretty clean air. So if JD is listening, I'd pit now. So, if JD was to pit now, he'd come out between Tim and Joe with a pretty gap. And tyre and fuel should be comfortable to the end here. He can get rid of that damage. Arrow's now starting to pull away, put some fresh tyres on. So if I was JD, oh, there's sick going lawn mowing in the background. I would go for a bit of an undercut. Or at least pit early. You're not really getting an undercut. But he will come out into a pretty nice gap. But clearly, JD is not listening. Brian now into the pits then. Yeah, his tyres are really spent. So he's gone a bit earlier as well, but Svander's finally back past him. So your top three right now as we approach the second stop for the two stoppers, Ariel, JD and Zen. Svander in fourth, he would be up there with Zen if it wasn't for his spin, which cost him a fair amount of time, especially since when he was trying to spin it back round, he got back onto the grass. And in this game, you have to be so careful on the grass, as it's not nice, to put it simply. The grass is not the nicest. I think it was Joe we saw it with earlier. Forgot about that. What one is it again? Yeah. It's a lovely helmet Zen's actually got there. Now this is Ariel. This is JD. I do forget about this button, it's really cool. JD just got a plain helmet on, yeah, pretty much. But right now, as it stands, his wedding gift from GTEL will be a nice trophy. It's not going to necessarily finish it that way. JD does have a habit of spinning and choking when it matters, hint hint last week. But right now, his third podium of the season, I think. It's looking good for it right now. But looking even better is Ariel for his, what I believe would be his second race win of the season. He's definitely been the most consistent driver, except from Suzuka. Suzuka was not the best race for him. He was very much bested. by a lot of people, but Zen didn't do too well either. So there wasn't much lost, but other than Bathurst, Zen's struggled, and it's been a better race, but he's still going to lose points in the championship. And he's, so far as it stands, he's got JD to thank for taking fast slap away from Ariel's. Who's to say Ariel's not going to have a big enough gap where he can pit again? Because he's done it before. He did it in Kyoto, pit again to make sure you've got enough fuel to the end. In comes JD and Joven. Oh, JD's just come out of the pit, sorry. Zen will be in this lap. Zen's quite low on fuel here, dangerously low almost, but it's a short lap, so it should be okay. No, JD's pitted. I don't believe he span. And yeah, no, he hasn't spun. 34 seconds off the lead. So then now JD, he's come out in clean air, and he's got 19 minutes to find, 34 seconds on Ariel, who's on the harder compound going to the end. He's on 10-minute-old mediums, or just over that. It's possible, but he's going to need to put in quali lap after quali lap. Gonna be a very, very close race here, potentially, if JD can find the pace, and he's got rid of that damage as well. That's probably cost him a bit more time than he would have liked, but he will certainly make up for that on the track. He was still doing well without it, but now it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of pace he can set without the damage, because with the damage he was still lapping pretty much the same and sometimes faster than Ariel. Now without it, we're going to really see him thrive. 33 seconds, and this lap we're really going to see the gain. Especially down the straight here, the top end's so important, and you are heavily impacted when it comes to straight line speed if you do have front end damage. Macaulay, where Macaulay DNF? He put on the mediums and it just kind of went downhill for him, sadly. With JD really flying, he's not far off his personal best. He did brilliant qualifying. Was one of two people along with Ariel to go under the 23-second mark. Expect people to be troubling the 21-second mark tomorrow. Well, that's lap 24.3 compared to a 23.4. It's almost a second quicker. He's probably going to have to do a bit more than that if he wants to challenge Ariel. Now, Ariel may still feel a bit pressured here and not want to pit to the end. But if Ariel was to pit, definitely go now and put on the softer compound of tyre. As there's Hardcore doing all sorts of dance moves on the exit of, I believe, Sterling's. A lot of his corners named after old British racing drivers, including Graham Hillbend, which is turn 3, Surtees, which is turn 4, turn 6, which is Hawthorns. There's Sheen Curve, Sterling's, Clark Curve. There's a lot. This is very much a classic British circuit. A lot of people would love to see, along with Donington on the F1 calendar. There's a lot of really good British racing circuits, and a lot of really good domestic racing leagues in the UK with the GB3 Championship, British GT. All available to watch on YouTube. This is not a promotion. I wish I was being paid by them to do it, but if you can, go and watch them. It's good. Brands Hatch, though, not the best for overtaking, but you get some classic race on it. It's brilliant for bikes as well. And wouldn't it? How fun would it be to get everyone on Ride 4 and get them racing on a bike for a special race? That would be interesting. Anyways, under 15 minutes to go then. Out front is Ariel. A 24-2 for the Panamanian driver. We'll see up towards the line what kind of time JD's setting and how much he's gained this lap. He's really looking at 2 seconds to 2.5 seconds difference. Ariel may pit. Fuel-wise, Ariel should be safe to the end. I don't really see why Ariel should. Ariel's not going to be pushing much either, but a 23.8, so only 4 tenths quicker that lap for JD, so very much think JD, unless Ariel spins, he's not going to get the win here, which is a real shame. But that has been a brilliant drive. JD, another weird strategy, pitted 15 minutes into the race, got off the mediums, and has thrived from there pretty much. Had a few run-ins early on, not the best. He had a pretty terrible start, actually, dropped him down to 7th, I believe. But he's nonetheless still running well. Zen's improving. Svander Joey is up into 5th. Brian into 6th. He pitted really early. Peachy into 7th now as Tim's pitted. I don't believe Peachy has. No, Peachy has pitted. So Peachy's running 7th. Hardcore's got some damage. But nonetheless, everyone running solidly now. Everything's sort of quietened down a bit. As last lap Zen, 10th quicker than JD, but JD over a second quicker than Ariel last lap. And if he could be 1.2 seconds quicker than Ariel each lap, well, there might have been something in it. But Ariel still has a gap to pit and be 100% safe to the end. Fuel-wise, Ariel's got 2 laps above target on fuel, looking at it. So I think he's definitely comfortable to the end. Maybe he thinks about pitting for the softs when it comes down to the real end of it. And then maybe taking some softs and going for fastest lap, which he may be thinking about. Fastest lap on an extra point, but the gains he's making so far, he may not see the risk to necessarily go for it. I don't personally see a risk, especially come the end of a championship though. Maybe. But anyway, oh. Yeah, into the pits then comes Ariel. So Ariel's definitely thinking about putting some fresh tyres on. He knows JD's gaining just to be safe. No, Ariel puts a bit more fuel in the car as well. But he's now going to go for fastest lap of 22.8, which was about what he set in qualifying. He's now going to have a lighter car, but traffic may not do him any good. But what's that gap going to be come the end of it? 18 seconds, just under 18 seconds is the gap. He can definitely push it to the end now as well, fuel-wise. He is safe to the end. But one spin is all it takes. Down the straight, the power of the Corvette definitely helps against the Mazda. Ariel and the PTY team, Ruben's team this is, they are well known in Panama. They are a pretty good team. They are no slouch. They only accept the best, and that's currently what we're looking at. We are looking at one of the best here, PTY, Ariel. Let's just have a look on board then. In the cockpit as we go for a lap down to Brands Hatch, just before the #1 board, through Paddock Hill Bend, taking a bit of curb. Can run a bit wide onto the curve, seems a bit forced, braking directly at the bridge into Druids, hugging that inside, going to go onto the Astro strip a bit there, probably took a bit too much, don't want to go too much onto the grass there, but it does help you turn in a bit through turn 3, beautiful through there, currently improving but not purple, go a bit deep, a bit onto the marbles here and swing it in for a late apex through Graham Hill, don't want to run too wide there, just a bit onto the curb, nothing more. All the gravel is dangerous, keep it as close to the line through the little kick there, through Pilgrim's Dip we go. Up towards Hawthorns, one of the trickiest corners. He's now purple. Down twice, and then almost hold it flat a bit. Probably could have pushed a tiny bit more. Now through Westfield. Down twice again through the 50. That was really shaky there. One tyre onto the gravel. That could have been over for him. Through Sheen Curve. Nice again, as close to the white line as possible. Swing it to the right-hand side. Nail the apex and power through Sterling's. Up clearways. Moving over to the left-hand side to line it up at the 1 board for Clark Curve. Little dab on the brakes, then get the car turning on power. Turning right constantly up towards the line and fastest lap. There you go. A 22.5 for PTY Ariel. And there is pretty much all crashes aside. I think Ariel sweeping this one with a full 18. Now let's have a look at the championship. The gap between Zen and JD. How big is that? This is... So far JD is going to be gaining 2 points on Zen. If I can pull up the driver standings. Yeah, the gap will then go down to 2 points. If Zen spins, or Svander, who's currently lapping pretty similar pace, in the past 2 laps he's gained 2 tenths on Zen. And one mistake by Zen, if Zen drops down into 4th, which is unlikely with 6 minutes to go, then they'll be tied going into round 5, which I can't remember where it is. But anyway, Ariel, is he going to better his fastest lap? Let's see. Up towards the line. Not quite. I think he's got the points and he's settled for it now, which is fair enough. But we'll look ahead on the calendar. Where are we off to next then? Sardinia. That will be Sardinia B. It's an interesting track there. We're going to there for the first time. Another brand new track. It's a brilliant track, I must say. If you've never watched racing on it, you are in for a blast. And probably one of the best qualifying sessions of the year. always produces something. It's a real track where every turn can give you... It's very similar to Gran Turismo in the sense that every turn can give you stupid amounts of time, where they're not all pretty much hairpins, where it's kind of through this section of the GP circuit you can kind of hover through. There's these medium speed corners where you can really push it and take risks. These are the times that make qualifying really exciting. And this is the sort of thing that tracks like Brantac and Sardinia can bring. They'll make it an excellent qualifying session. And Sardinia can bring some brilliant races with a lot of overtaking opportunities as well. And it's going to be a chaotic first few laps, I feel, going into that race. But now, JD's really losing time ahead to where it was. Fresh tyres, as I predicted, really putting the foot down as Svander has actually gone spinning somewhere, it seems, and is now down in 5th, and Joe 14.2 seconds back. He's now into 4th. Now, what will this do for Joe in the championship standings? As Joe missed around, currently in 6th on 16 points, he will definitely jump Macaulay, as Macaulay will get a DNF, and that's pretty much it. Penalties as well. Svander and Zen were really risky, but I don't think they're going to get a anything along the lines of 15 seconds. Tim's in 8th, even if he gets the penalty for brake checking JD. He kind of came off worse, but he did give JD damage. But he's a minute ahead of 6th, so looking down at potential penalties and what else and what not could happen. Ariel seems pretty blessed with a 25-second lead approaching. And he's very comfortable now. So, a very, very chaotic opening 20 minutes. Opening 30, you could say, and then everything slowed down, but it's not over. They're going to have 2 laps to go here. Ariel might be able to get 3 in. No, I don't think Ariel will be able to get a 3rd in. Well, we'll see. Ariel might actually get a 3rd in here. But unless something between these lot, they have a spin. It's so easy to have a spin at this track, so it is possible, but I think with the final closing laps, they've got a big enough gap where they can just be a bit more conservative and just bring it home. Bring home these valuable points. And they'll be fairly comfortable come the end of it, but Zen are going to take another massive knock in the championship. JD is going to gain on him, and currently a 16-second gap, as Ariel actually finished 2nd last week. So actually, Zen's record is win, 5th, 5th. Ariel's record is 2nd, 1st, 2nd, and will be 1st again. JD's record is going to be 7th, 2nd, 3rd, and 2nd as it stands, and Brian's 3rd, 3rd, 7th, and then a 6th. So JD and Zen, that gap will come down to 2 points. There's currently a 16-point gap between Zen and Ariel. That gap is going to go up by 8 points, as Ariel will be taking a full 16 and Zen will be taking home 10. Sorry, full 18 compared to Zen's 10. So in the championship, Ariel running away with it so far, but he's not undefeated. He's lost. There have been 3 race winners, Ariel, Zen and Macaulay. Macaulay's not here, but most consistent has been this man. And he will get another lap out of this, I think. And I don't think JD will. It's going to be close if JD can, but Zen definitely won't. He's going to be very fortunate he isn't, because he's very low on fuel. He should make it to the end though, but if he doesn't, well, that's gutting us. You then reduce to 50 mile an hour, which around here is not the worst. There are definitely worse tracks you could want it. a long track with a high speed. But Ariel will get one more lap. JD will get one more lap as Zen. He goes cutting the track there, and he's not going to get another lap in. He's also going to be a bit slower to the line anyway, just to make sure he doesn't. But JD just at the line, he'll get one more lap out of this as well. So JD can say lap the whole field, and it's kind of the two guys that are able to go sub 23. Zen will be the first to take the checkered flag in third. Joe will be next in fourth. But you have to feel the two that went sub 23 in qualifying, lapped the whole field technically. Joe fourth, another good result for him. He's yet to get a podium. And Svander, a good race for him in fifth. Brian, after a really strong start, result better than last week, but not his what he was used to at the start with 2 podiums. Peachy seventh for him, and Tim in eighth. Tim will round out the final podium spots, but round the final turn, then round Clark Curve, his second win of the season. He's the only driver to be on the podium in every race. Ariel wins in Brands Hatch. A brilliant win from him. He will take all 18 points, and JD, he's going to use this as a bit of a thank you lap. Congratulations on getting married, JD. You are the man. It will be second for him. His third podium of the season, and he closes down that gap to second place in the championship. And I think JD could be happy with this performance. But Ariel, race winner for the second time this season, extends his championship lead to what I think will be, if my math stands correctly, at 24 points. JD will be 26 points behind Ariel, as he's the last of the finishers. But there's confirmation of the results. Ariel wins from JD and Zen. They are your top 3. Congratulations to everyone. A brilliant race, but penalties may just be coming people's way. Protests can happen, we'll see. A lot can go off in this, especially around Brands Hatch, but it's been a good race, so you can't really overtake on here. Here's the unofficial race results. Ariel wins from JD and Zen as the podium. Joe gets a good result, finishing 4th for the second time this season. Svander, he's back, he gets 5th. Brian and Peachy, the 2 Estonians, 6th and 7th. Tim, 8th, rounds out the points. Sick on debut, I believe, 9th. Hardcore, Fridge, PX4, 10th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th outside the points. And Macaulay, last week's race winner, will not be finishing. Thank you all for watching. Join me tomorrow at 7 PM British summertime for Division 1. The same race is going to be just as good, if not better. Expect even quicker times. Teasing the 21s. Thank you all for watching though. Join me tomorrow. I've been